At it again, and whew, it is beginning to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Watching these race hustlers just spew out a bunch of lies, man. And ooh, payback can be a mother. You know what I mean? Well, so I don't know if you guys heard, but MSNBC has decided that they were going to fire a specific somebody, and word is somebody else may be on the way out. So that's what we're going to be diving into today. So make sure you guys stick around. I got a few videos that I'm going to be stitching together in this one. So we got a good one. We have a good one. But before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that like button. Really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Greatly appreciate every single last one of you guys that have shown so much love and support on this channel, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already, hit that subscribe button down below and join the family. Join the family. And make sure you guys are following me on social media. All of those links are down below in the description box. Instagram, Twitter, Truth Social, Discord server. Make sure you're joining the Discord server. It's totally free to join. It's a glorified chat room where we can all sit in there and chat with one another. But first off, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of the backstory on Tiffany Cross being fired and what may have led to it. So that's what we're going to be jumping into first, just to give you guys a little backstory. But with that being said, let's dive in.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. In July of 1993, a radio station in Kigali, Rwanda, began openly attacking one of the country's main ethnic groups, the Tutsis. The radio station was called RTLM, but many remember it as simply Hutu Radio because its audience was primarily Hutu. According to Hutu Radio, Tutsi people were responsible for virtually every bad thing that ever happened in Rwanda. Tutsis had way too much money. They had way too much power. Tutsis were way too privileged. They were greedy. They were bigoted. They were racists. They were dangerous. Everything about Tutsiness was repulsive. For the most part, actual Tutsis in Rwanda ignored all of this. Hutu Radio was not aimed at them. But then, in July of 1994, just 9 months after RTLM went on the air, a genocide began in Rwanda. More than 500,000 Tutsis were murdered, in many cases by Hutus whose rage had been stoked to violence by RTLM's broadcasts. Entire Tutsi families were dragged from their homes and hacked to death with machetes. Hundreds of thousands of women were raped. The world watched in horror as it happened, but did nothing to intervene. Instead, our leaders told us at the time, the genocide in Rwanda would live forever as a lesson to the rest of us about the capacity for evil that lurks inside every human heart and the dangers of reducing our neighbors to the sum total of their ethnicity. They're individuals, not ethnic groups.
Sound familiar from MSNBC? Sound familiar? So this clip aired, I want to say like a week or two ago. I think I may have checked it out with you guys. If I didn't, I checked it out on my own, and I was just like, wow, this is incredible. But I think I made a video on it. But let's take a look at some of the things Tiffany Cross has said. Goodness gracious. You guys are going to be astonished if you haven't been watching MSNBC at all. Check this out.
Many of us have seen the dangers when powerful white people decide they want something, they annex it. And they've never had a problem replacing the people who stand in their way.
We see American white people are going crazy. They're resorting to violence.
This is literally what conservative white folks do when they don't get their way. They turn violent.
White people deputizing themselves in some position of authority to have jurisdiction over their life when they need to mind their blanking business.
I don't think it's our responsibility to be tasked with destroying and dismantling the racial oppression that's against us. That's just saying we're more at fault than the white people who constructed this system and the white people who continue to practice institutional racism.
A majority of white people do not support policies that would unpack and unroll and reform this system of justice. This is what they want. Matt Gaetz is giving the white folks what they want.
White replacement can strangle culture. So yes, we should all be concerned about white replacement. It is, after all, a very threat to our survival here. What we didn't see were enough voices willing to point out the deeper, festering rot that's plagued this nation since it was born. People who neither discovered nor built this land have been led to believe that America is theirs and theirs alone. Will this democracy survive? Well, a Yahoo News poll says no. But perhaps when you build a nation on stolen land with stolen labor, it was never going to be a republic we could keep. And so here we are, celebrating the birth of a nation, independence for white men.
You guys remember, I touched on how white people don't have freedom of speech anymore. Well, first off, that's spread to basically everyone at this point. But I was noticing something happening as, you know, I was checking out more and more of these types of videos. White people didn't have freedom of speech. And I noticed it first with white people. You know, because a black person could say anything they wanted to a white person. And we checked out a video of a black person telling a white person, you should put yourself in a pine box because it would be good for humanity. Which is just an absolutely absurd statement to say to anybody. But it's accepted if it came from a black person or a person of color. If the white person had said that, there would be marches and protests out in the streets, buildings burning down all over the place. And yet you get stuff like what you just witnessed on MSNBC with Tiffany Cross, who basically said all white people are violent and extremist, which, come on now, really? And Eli Mastal, he failed to mention the riots that happened, you know, more recently, where buildings were burned and all of that good stuff. Yeah, he failed to mention that, but yeah, all white people are violent. Okay, yeah. People spewing out that type of stuff, some people buy it, some people believe it. And as Tucker Carlson just said at the beginning, that can start to fester some hate, some misplaced hate at that. So it is wonderful to see that MSNBC has gotten rid of their race hustler, Tiffany Cross. Let's check out this video here.
If we went to a white person's home and it was their family dinner and we were sitting there at the table and the mother hauled off and slapped the father, and everybody at that table has an opinion. You know, the sister's like, Mom, you always do this. And the brother's like, I can't believe you guys are doing this. And Dad's like, you're terrible. If I weigh in as the guest in this home and I say, yeah, you guys are terrible, everybody's like, I'm sorry.
Controversial weekend host Tiffany Cross is out. Cross did not get a contract renewal with the network, according to a source. With her inflammatory comments on race reportedly earning her a number of warnings from execs. But of course, she's black, so there's no way that they were going to fire her. I'm sure she believed. She found out the hard way. Psych. Most recently, Cross raised eyebrows on Comedy Central's Hell of a Week with Charlemagne. Oh yeah, you guys are going to want to see it. You guys are going to want to hear this. Check this out.
Tiffany, what do you think? One's got to go.
I say Florida literally looks like the of the country, so let's get rid of Florida. Ron?
Are you saying castrate?
Florida looks like the male package of the United States. So castrated. What? Anyway, so there's been speculation that after now that Tiffany Cross has been fired, Joy Reid may be on the chopping block. And recently she had some wild statement that I want to check out with you guys too. You would think she would have learned, hey, if Tiffany Cross is getting a bunch of warnings, I probably should like clean up my act just a little bit. Like just a little bit. No, of course not. She's black, of course. She's a Democrat. There's no way they'll fire her. We'll see. We'll see. Check it out.
This is Joy Reid. She's a host on MSNBC talking about the concept of inflation. Let's watch together.
So it's interesting that Republicans are doing something they don't normally do, right? Which is not use the common tongue, right? Not use just common English to sort of do on their campaigns like they're doing with crime. But what they've done is they've taught people the word inflation, right? Yeah. Most people who would have never used that word ever in their lives are using it now because they've been taught it, including on TV, including in newspapers. They've been taught this word.
Margaret, I saw you scoff during that.
I mean, it's just absurd that people don't understand what the word inflation is. I mean, we're all adults.
We're living it. We're feeling it everywhere.
It's ridiculous that
our customers are feeling
that we're being told that we're taught this or fed this through the media, as though we don't, aren't intelligent individual people that understand what's happening around us and what's happening in our pocketbooks.
And she's a Democrat.
Yeah.
And by the way, you were a Democrat. You also raised your hand. You're going to vote Republican in this election?
Yes, I already did. I voted all Republican except for one Democrat.
Look, American voters are not stupid people.
Right.
And when you, from the White House to these talk shows, we're told we don't understand what's going on. We're living it every day. These people in their ivory towers they're the ones with no concept, and they think we're stupid and they're trying to snow us. And then they read polls, and suddenly you hear like a Kathy Hochul suddenly changing her tune on crime. Why?
Right.
Because the polling was bad for her position.
Really quickly, last word to you, Beth. You're the only one that didn't talk. I gave Josh twice. Here's what everyone should know. These two were going at it during the commercial break on election day. Beth and Josh going at it. So I'm going to give you last word here at the end of the segment.
Okay. And when you had just said to anybody who's watching that Josh and I were going at it during the break.
In a friendly manner, I should say.
And that's really what's happening and what's wrong with our country. I'm conservative. I was never Democrat. I won't say how old I am, but I've always been conservative, and you're a liberal, and we're able to have a conversation, and that's what has to happen, because I think that when we come to the table, we have real conversations, we agree on a lot.
I'm really glad you pointed that out, Beth. I did. You say they were going at it in a spirited manner. It was not toxic. It was not negative, and it is something we'd love to see more of in this country. We appreciate all of you guys in this conversation this morning.
So Joy Reid accusing Republicans of being stupid. Republicans don't know what inflation is. They've just been told that now by these politicians. Just the most ridiculous statement. Like, how could you even keep a straight face saying something like that? Legitimately. I'm just like, yo, no wonder MSNBC finally fired some of these folks. They need to fire her too. Like, Republican supporters have no clue what inflation is. They've never been taught that word a day in their life until now. And it's improper English or something, whatever she said there at the beginning. Like, oh my goodness. Woo, man. Yeah, she said that. She really said that. And I love what the lady in this focus group said there towards the end. It's important that we sit down and have these types of conversations, even though we're on different sides of the political aisle, so to speak. It's important that we open up that dialogue, right? And I commend this gentleman here on the end, this guy, because he's the liberal of the group. I think everyone else is conservative, but he was willing to sit there and have an open conversation with a conservative. And as I forgot this guy's name, he actually used to be on ESPN. What's this guy's name? He used to be on ESPN a lot. Goodness gracious. But you heard what he said. He said it was a spirited debate. It wasn't negative or toxic or anything like that. I mean, even if it did get a little fiery, as long as at the end of the day we can shake hands and go have a meal together, like, it's all good. Things are gonna get a little heated from time to time. People are passionate about what they believe in. That's okay. I think people take it to the extreme though. Afterwards, and a lot of these leftists push that. They try to accuse the right of doing so, but it's really the left. You guys remember when the Wicked Witch of the West, Maxine Waters, you see them out in public, you let them know they are not accepted. You guys remember that? Now, just imagine, right? Imagine if, I don't know, Carrie Lake came out and said something like that. Ron DeSantis or, I don't know, Jim Jordan came out and said something like that. Hey, you see these Democrats out here, you let them know they are not welcome. Oh my goodness. It would be aired 24/7 for the next 3 weeks. And every time anything remotely even to do with skin color came up, they would re-air it again. Guarantee it. But of course, since Maxine Waters is black and she's a Democrat, she can say stuff like that. And that is the hypocrisy that we are dealing with in this country right now, and why the Democrats are having a hard time. and will have an even harder time when the midterms hit. But as always, y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and of course, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.